Hello there, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a get ready with me video and it is a one brand focused on KIKO Milano. I have almost a full face of products from them. The only two products I did not purchase are eyebrow and mascara products. So those I will fill in with my usual favorites, but everything else from eyeshadow primer, foundation, lipstick, lip gloss, you name it, I've got it. I'm going to talk a little bit about the brand as we go along and obviously specifically about each product. So if you're new here, be sure you hit that subscribe button. Now let's get started. Now, if you're not at all familiar with KIKO Milano products, join the club. It wasn't until several months ago that I noticed them on Ulta's website, just a small collection. And I thought, these look really good, like really good products. And I started testing a few here and there and I was like, I am really impressed. Let's order some more. So KIKO Milano is actually based in Italy. They are truly a confirmed cruelty-free brand, and most of their products are formulated without parabens. So I was doing a deep dive trying to figure out if they are technically a clean brand or not, and that was kind of the only distinction that I was able to find. So each product you're going to need to kind of look at and determine if it is without parabens or not. Now the first product I'm going to show you is the Neutral Eye Base. And what's funny is on their actual products and the boxes, there isn't a whole lot of information about each product. So I'm gonna have to pull up the products on their website to tell you a little bit about them. And this one just basically says it is a neutralizing eye base. So as I have been blending this in, I think you'll be able to see it did somewhat neutralize the tone on my eyelid. I'll show you kind of the comparison, and you're gonna think you need more than you do. Be careful with this one, not to get too much product. It holds up pretty well for me for about 8 hours. On a really hot day, it might start creasing, my shadow might start creasing a little bit, but I have super oily eyelids. So you can see compared to this one, just that slight little bit of evening of the tone, but it says that it will work no matter what your skin tone is. I've really enjoyed this overall. Again, if I need my makeup to last for 12 to 15 hours, I don't choose this one, but if it's a shorter day, I have really enjoyed this. All right, we're gonna go on to eyeshadow, and this product you've seen me use at least once already, and it is the Color Shock eyeshadow, and this is the Happy Birthday Balaza collection, and I have the shade 02 Energic Copper, and this is a whipped texture. You need very little product. I'm gonna go ahead and apply this now. I'm gonna apply this to the lid. I have kind of a very light, fresh look in mind, so we'll see if we get there, but this really reminds me of the Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize product. It goes on super smoothly, and you'll see there is some shine, a little bit of sparkle if you look real close, but nothing chunky. But this sets down and stays so well. So I feel like this is just a really nice added little insurance that the eyeshadow I put on top. Now you could just use this on its own, but I do like to use it as a base, and it is going to make shimmer shadows that you put over it just even more shiny and vibrant. Now for eyeshadow today, I have 3 palettes that I could use. They're all limited edition. I don't know that any of them are still available, but it's what I have, so I'm gonna show them to you. So I feel like by showing them, you're at least getting an idea of what their eyeshadow formula is, and I've really been impressed. Super smooth formula. So this one, it's still on their website, but it shows out of stock. So this is the Festival Glow 01 Purple Rain. I showed this in my birthday get ready with me, and it kind of reminds me of Charlotte Tilbury's eyeshadow quads, especially this one. This is just a really fun, cool kind of duochrome shadow, super soft and pigmented. And then we have 2 mattes, and then this one is kind of a soft shimmery pink color. And then I have also showed this palette, which I may use I might use these 2 shades from here. But this one I got on Ulta's website. This is the Blossoming Beauty Flight of the Butterfly. and just their packaging, everything is very well done. So their pricing is a little bit above what your typical drugstore pricing would be, but I think part of that is because they really do a great job with formulation and their packaging. Now this one I'm also going to use today, and this is actually a face and eye palette, and it is the Blossoming Beauty Romantic Shades of Face and Eye. And I hope that this is still available. I was able to pull it up the other day, but I don't know. So we are gonna start with this palette, and I'm gonna go into this bronzer shade with my Morphe M504, and I'm gonna use this in the crease. So this is for all of you who just love to throw a bronzer in the crease, maybe something shimmery on the lid. You just wanna pull out one palette. What I love is this is formulated for both eyes and cheeks. You know, I kind of am a stickler about that. I don't like to just pull in a regular bronzer too often unless I'm really desperate, or a blush, because my eyes are so sensitive and I just like to be careful what kinds of products I'm putting on there. So you can see that's a very warm toned brown, very buildable. It is mostly matte. I think it might have a slight little bit of a satin finish, but it doesn't really show up on the eyes. I'm gonna size down to a Morphe M433, and I'm gonna use a little bit of the blush shade mixed with that and bring that through the crease. And then we're gonna go in with this shade right here, which is Love and Gold. And this has it's very smooth, but it's a pretty metallic-y finish. And over that base shadow we put down, I just think it's really pretty. Next, I'm gonna go into this palette, I think, actually, and I'm gonna use just a touch of this kind of creamy pink shade right under the brow. I don't want this to be too light and bright, but I think this will be just a right amount of kind of lift under that brow that I usually love. And then I'm gonna take the BK Beauty 206 brush and just go in with a little bit of this darker matte shade. There is also a dark matte shade that's real similar in that Blossoming Beauty palette. And I'm just gonna draw this up because I have hooded eyes. This just helps reduce the look of that hood just a little bit. It makes it look like I have a crease where I really don't. So that's why I like to do this step, but I'm really just gonna keep this right on the outside of my eye and then go back with the Morphe M433 and just blend that. And you can see how easily that blends out. I mean, I think these are really nice quality shadows and they seem to stay well. Of course, I always use an eyeshadow primer, but that's just a given. Next, we're gonna go in with eyeliner. And again, another product I have shown you. I am loving this dual-ended eye pencil. I have the shade selection of 01. On their website, they give color names, but on the actual products, it's usually just numbers. So just something to be mindful of. All right, this particular one, on the website, I think it says Shimmering Mauve, which I would say this is more of a shimmering, like silvery lavender shade. It's really pretty. And then on the other end is a taupe, a matte taupe shade. And that is what I'm going to actually use today. I'm going to use just a little bit of this under the lash line here, just a tiny bit. And you can see it's just like the perfect shadow color. I know some of you don't like to go very dark under your lower lash line or even on your upper lash line, but this is a great option. It's not going to look harsh and it really does smudge out easily, but once these set, they do not budge. So super long wearing. And then I'm gonna take just a little bit of this along my upper lash line here, and I'm really just pressing this into the roots of my lashes. This is the only liner I have from them, and so I wanted to kind of show it to you on both upper and lower. But on the upper lashes, I like to do this even if I'm doing a lighter look because it helps disguise mascara that I might actually accidentally get up on my lid there. And it just makes your lash line look a little thicker. So just taking that to the outer corner, not winging it out. And then I'm, again, just really keeping this close to the lash line, pressing into the roots of the lashes as I go. And just little dashes. You don't have to draw one straight line. I know we're used to seeing that done, but usually it's on people who have like no wrinkles or no texture on their lids, and that's just not how it is as we get older, is it? Okay, I'm gonna go back to that BK Beauty 206 brush, and I'm just going to tap on a little bit of this right over that line, just to keep it nice and soft. And it just, again, sets everything in place. And I'm doing this darker shade here in the outer corner, and then from about halfway point in, wipe off that brush, and I'm gonna go in with this shade because I wanna keep this looking pretty light. This is, again, just gonna create a little soft shadow as we go in towards the inner corner. Now I'm just gonna go back on this side. I added a little more of that shimmer shade on the lid, and I did try it with a wet brush. So I'm first going to apply just a little bit dry and see if that makes any difference. I've not tried these shadows wet, so you know, we're just experimenting together. I'm gonna wet my brush. This is just the Maybelline setting spray. I don't really feel like that really changes it too much. It might smooth it out just a little bit. Add a little more with my finger. Yeah, I think it intensified it just a little bit, so we have a nice shine there. All right, now let's clean up under the eyes. I'm just going to use a little bit of almond oil like usual. One more eye product that I did not put on today, I'll just show you. I have tried this a few times. It's the KIKO Long Lasting Eyeshadow Stick. This is pretty good. I love this color. This is 05. This didn't really go with the vibe I was planning today, so I didn't use it. I do, though, however, feel like the Color Shock shadows, I feel like these are have a little more hold power than these, but this worked very well. So. All right, now let's move on to foundation, and I am going to show you the full coverage 2-in-1 foundation and concealer. This comes in a glass bottle. It has a doe foot applicator. There's only 0.84 fluid ounces, but it does come in 28 shades. It retails for $24.99. Woo! Yeah, that's why it took me a while to order this. I was like, do I really want to? This is one that is also available on Ulta's website. So I would personally recommend ordering it there if you can, because it was a little hard to find my proper shade, and this one's just slightly off still. So I have the shade WB30. Now what this says is that it's an innovative dual action formula, foundation and concealer. It's supposed to hide and minimize all blemishes, under eye circles, discoloration, fine lines, etc., and leave a second skin effect veil on the face with a matte satin finish. And it says kind of towards the bottom that it is ideal for normal to oily skin. And so I'm a combination oily girl, so I thought this was the perfect one to try. They do have a couple of other options. Now it's gonna look like I'm using a lot, but I'm going to kind of smear this all over. So the formula is, it does seem like it's going to be thick. It looks a little thick at first, but don't worry. We're gonna kind of take away some of that a little bit. And I'm gonna try again. I used a brush yesterday and I thought that kind of worked it in. And then I have a damp sponge that I may go over it just to kind of work it into the skin. But this does set pretty quickly. But once you put it on your face, it really does not feel heavy or like you're really wearing anything at all. So that is good. I don't feel like it's really full coverage. It does provide, though, medium to kind of the lower end of full. but usually I'll get done and still have a few spots. And even if I go over it, like my dark spot here, I don't know if that shows up on camera much, but if I go back over this dot, or this spot, I should say, I mean, it does pretty well, but I can still see the shadow of that spot underneath. Now, at first, when I put this on, I kind of feel like my pores and everything are highlighted, but as it sets down on the skin, it kind of does mesh better with the skin, and I feel like the texture is minimized a little bit more. So I'm going to just kind of work that in with my finger. Let's do the forehead here. And because of the texture of this foundation being a little bit thicker, I do feel like I use kind of more product than I typically do with, like, say, my Bare Pro foundation. So now that I've got that worked in, okay, I just had to go dampen my beauty sponge. So I'm going to now just kind of take this over the skin and just remove a little bit of the excess. When it first goes on, you don't really think it's going to kind of set down, but it does. It, over time, like about 30 seconds or so, you'll feel it kind of set down a little bit. And it does say a satin matte, so it's not a completely matte finish. Now today underneath, I'm trying out the Australian Gold sunscreen, and I used a mix of medium tan and fair light. I've used a couple of different sunscreens, and I feel like the foundation overall performs pretty well. I do find it does depend on what I set it with, so we'll talk about that in a moment. All right, now it's time for concealer, because you can tell we need some help. So I'm using the Skin Tone Concealer, and what was confusing when I got this, I was like, wait, didn't I order a corrector? Well, they have concealer shades and 2 corrector shades. So I ordered 04, which is peach, which is one of the color corrector shades, but then they have 7 kind of skin tone color ones, and then they also have a green color corrector. So this just says it's a new fluid formula that blends perfectly, camouflages imperfections and under eye circles, offering medium coverage, guarantees a no makeup look. And when I first apply this, you'll kind of be like, whoa. I mean, I was looking close. I was thinking, is it peach tone? I guess it kind of is. It's a very bright peach tone, and it does feel pretty thin. So I really didn't hold out a whole lot of hope for this doing anything. But surprisingly, I kind of feel like this does a good job of adding a little bit of color correction. Now, as I mentioned before, the foundation is meant to be a concealer. I'm not going to use that today because I have used it as a concealer under my eyes, and it did not work well for my drier under eyes. I feel like this is one of those cases where something that is formulated for oily skin is not going to work if you have dry under eyes, and that's my case. So I have tried it under the eyes, and it kind of got dry and really emphasized lines under my eyes. However, this one, this kind of skin tone corrector, because I did not get an actual concealer shade, I feel like this actually does a really good job of brightening. I mean, look at that, just all by itself. Now I'm gonna add just a little bit of concealer. I'm gonna add a little bit of Revlon. Oops, I'm deviating one more product. Sorry about that, but I just know for me personally, I need this little extra bit of concealer. And there we go. And now the foundation has set down a little bit. It still feels like I need to set it, but it doesn't feel overly tacky or really oily or anything like that. So we're gonna go in with another cream product, and this was one of the very first products I ever bought, and it's the Sculpting Touch Creamy Stick Contour. And I have both shades that it comes in. I'm gonna use 201 today. And again, on Ulta's website, it has these listed with color names instead of numbers, so I'll list everything down below. But this is the darker shade, and then this is the lighter. I use this in the winter time and really enjoy it. Both of these have a nice cool tone, and the texture is just perfect. It glides on. but unlike the NYX Wonder Sticks that I was talking about in my Darlings and Duds, these don't pick up your foundation underneath. So they glide on and blend out fairly easily without having to really work hard. And yet they provide just a really good amount of color. And they are very buildable. So if you have deeper skin tone, you can build these up pretty well. I don't know if this darkest shade would be quite dark enough, but you can see this just, it blends in, and I'm just kind of like dabbing. This is kind of how I do my contour. And I'm using the BK Beauty 107 brush, one of my favorites for cream contour. So there you go. You see that nice sculpted cheek, but it's not overly crazy. You can blend it and blend it. You can go back with foundation brush if you need to, but always love a nice sculpted cheek. All right, the last cream product for the face is this Festival Glow Golden Star Cushion Highlighter. This is the shade 02. And when I showed this in my birthday haul, I said, who thinks this looks like something from Charlotte Tilbury? And what you do is you unlock this top part and then you squeeze the product up here. And then what I have learned is just lock it back, and then you can use that product that has come to the top. Now, if I had it to do all over again, I think I would choose the other shade. This one is pretty gold, peachy gold. It's pretty, but if you have fair skin, it's going to show up with way too much color. For me, I can kind of get away with it if I use it lower on my cheek like I am here. If you have deeper skin tone, this will look beautiful. I'm just gonna work that in, and I do feel like this reminds me a lot of the formula of the Charlotte Tilbury Glow Wand products that she has. So if you've been interested in using that type of product, this is definitely offered at a much lower price point. Now this blue packaging, this is one of the limited edition. This is the Festival collection. I have a few other products from that. So I'm not sure which of these are still available, but I will find everything I can, list it down below. But I think that's really nice. I think it does provide a good amount of glow, but there's no glitter particles or anything crazy. So yeah. All right, now it's time to set the face. And again, another product that is no longer available, but it works the best for me. And they do have another loose setting powder that I want to try and see if it's close. But this is the Dolce Diva Fresh Feel Setting Powder. And when I first got this, it felt like it had that water feel in it, like the Becca Hydro Mist. And I fell in love with it. And then of course it disappeared from Ulta's website. So I was like, oh, why don't they keep any of these types of powders? But I really love this. I think it works really great. I'm gonna use this powder puff and I'm going to press this in. I have one other finishing powder that I'm actually going to show you under my eyes. But I tried using that finishing powder to also set my foundation, and it did not work well. And it shouldn't. So just so you know, a finishing powder is usually not the same as a setting powder. A finishing powder is just kind of to go over the top, like when you're done, and it helps kind of lock the color in place. And usually finishing powders for me work well under the eyes. All right, so you can see, I mean, it just totally wiped out the look of my pores and everything. So I wish they would bring that powder back. It's so great. But we're gonna move on to one of the powders that is still available, and it is called Universal Veil, and it's translucent. And what it says is it's ideal for enveloping the skin in a smooth matte veil and improving the hold of your makeup. So as I was saying, it's a finishing powder, so this is one that you're gonna do at the end of everything, and it's supposed to help just kind of keep things from transferring off your face, all of that. So I'm going to go ahead and use this under my eyes. I am going to make sure I don't have any lines there, so press those out, and now I'm gonna go in with just a little bit of this and set the under eye. And it does have a little bit of a blurring effect, which is nice, but it's so light. I mean, you rub your finger in, you're not getting tons of product off. So that's usually kind of characteristic of a finishing powder. So I'm gonna leave that out. Let's move to powder contour bronzer. So we could use our bronzer and blush and highlighter from here, but no, we've got more products to share. So another product from the Blossoming Beauty line, and this is the floral bronzer is what it's called, but it's O2 Bright Sienna. I'm going to use my F05 from Sigma. And even though this says bronzer and bright sienna, you would think that it would be too warm to use for contour. I found it to be a really nice one because it's overall a pretty matte finish. See how cool tone that is? And I have really enjoyed this. So if you're not a cream contour girl, this would be another option. Again, look for their regular line if you can't still find this. I think this was on sale on Ulta's website yesterday when I was looking. So you might still be able to get your hands on this one. So some of you are probably like, Shirley, you already put cream contour. Why are you doing another layer? Well, one tip is in hot weather, if you are trying to get your makeup to stay, when you do layers, I know that sounds terrible in hot weather that you would have layers of makeup, but it's not. As long as you do thin layers, if you do a cream contour and then go over it with a powder contour, it will set and stay even longer. So that's just a little tip. All right. Now for bronzer, I think I showed this in my birthday haul, and this also limited edition. This is the Festival Glow Baked Bronzer. This is called 02 Burnt Sienna. It's a baked product. Oh my goodness. Can you just, I mean, look how huge this is. It's so big. And this is a really great product. This being a baked product, you can really swirl your brush in and there's no powder kick up or anything. And it's very buildable. This one does have a slight little bit of glow and it is warmer in tone. So I'm gonna layer this on pretty thick because the blush options I have, they aren't real bright. So I'm going to kind of have a nice bronzy, glowy cheek today. All right, so the blush is this one, also from the Festival Glow collection, but I have seen a similar color in their regular line, and this is 02 Golden Peach. This is called a 3D blush, and oh my goodness, it's so pretty. Wow. And super smooth, no glitter particles, but there is glow in this. So I'm going to use the Morphe E4. I'm just pressing my brush in there. And I'm going to go right on my cheeks. I am staying away from this inner part where I have lots of pores, but just putting this kind of over that bronzer. And it just, I think, creates a really pretty glowy cheek. I'll take a little bit of this up on my forehead here too. And then I'll go back with my bronzer brush, just kind of marry those two together. Isn't that just so pretty? All right, we need one more glowy product because we haven't had enough. And again, I could go back to that Face and Eye palette, but I want to show you a highlighter from their regular line. This is the Ultimate Glow Highlighter, and I have the shade 01, comes in 3 shades. Just look at that. I mean, so beautiful, super smooth, and no huge chunks of glitter. It is quite glowy. So I'm going to use the MAC 140 fan brush and just put a little bit of this here. And then I'm going to use that on the inner corner of my eyes as well. You can see there's only a slight difference in tone from the one that was in the face palette. So that's where I feel like some of their special edition products could be the same products from their regular line, but this is a really pretty pretty highlighter. All right, now it's time to do brows and then mascara. For brows, I'm just using my current favorite two products. So the NYX Precision Brow Pencil in Taupe and the Merit Brow Gel or Brow Pomade in Blonde. Next, I'm going to curl my lashes, and on the upper lashes, I'm going to use my usual, the Dior Show Maximizer 3D Primer and the IT Cosmetics Superhero. But on my lower lashes, I am testing out a product that you all have told me about. It's the Maybelline Snap Mascara Waterproof. This is a tubing mascara, so I've only used it once, so jury's still out, but that's what I'm going to apply, and then I'll come back and we'll finish lips. All right, the last step is lips, and I did go around the edge with my MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot like normal, but the liner I'm going to use is the KIKO Milano Everlasting Color Precision Lip Liner. This is a twist up pencil, but it also has a sharpener, so you can keep that point really nice and sharp. And then it has a little smudger, a rubber smudger tip on this end. And this color is pretty dark. I got 425. Online, it was really hard to tell, but this is pretty dark, so I'm going to smudge out the line just a little bit. Now these go on super smoothly, but they do dry and set pretty quickly, and they have lasted on me very well. So I've definitely got my eye on a few more shades of those. Now, if you saw a recent makeup tutorial from my darlings and duds, you will have seen this lipstick. This is the Unlimited Stylo. Right now I only have one shade, which is 01. So I'll just show this to you. I'm going to use this as a base for something else. But this is a very unique product. It goes on, I mean, smooth like butter, just glides right on the lip. And you're going to think that it's just going to be one of those slippery balms. Once these set down though, they set and stay for hours. I even put it on this morning, showered, washed my face, and it was still on. So it is similar to like a matte liquid lipstick in the fact that it sets down and is pretty transfer resistant. I wouldn't say it's transfer proof. This is a pretty light color, so it's hard to tell. It's not gonna stay shiny or slippery on the lips. Like right now, it's almost completely set down, and there's a little bit of tack still between the lips. So that's what I think keeps it from being super drying, but it's not gonna look shiny and all of that. So just heads up, but it's very long wearing. There are over 20 shades, and can't wait to try out more. All right, what I'm gonna put on top of it though is another super impressive product, and it is their lip gloss, and this is the Blossoming Beauty Charming Lip Gloss. Again, I think it is a limited edition packaging maybe. I don't know if the formulation is as well, but this is 04, and it is so beautiful. So it is a shimmering kind of gold peach. I'll put a little bit on my hand so you can see it. I mean, look how pretty. And it really has like no detectable scent, which is interesting, but it has a lot of color, and these stick around for a very long time, but they're not overly sticky. So you can see that is more of a warm peach tone. So it's not the pinky peach. On here, it can look a little more pink, but on my lips, with that gold, it makes it a little more of a warm peach. I love this color. And of course, paired with that lip liner, it's making it look a little more, giving it a little more depth, I think. I'm gonna blend those two together. Isn't that just so pretty? And this one, the shine, the color, it is all very long lasting. Now, one final step, I told you we'd go back to our finishing powder. And right now I don't feel like I really need this, but yesterday I did this kind of after lunch, and I felt like it did help prolong my makeup for the rest of the day because it was so hot yesterday. And I needed a little touch up. I was feeling a little shiny, so I went in with this, and I felt like it held everything in place for the rest of the day. All right, so here's our finished look. And I know many of you have been asking me for a more neutral, kind of more subtle look that doesn't use pink, and hopefully you like this look today. So I really enjoy it. I feel really glowy and summery and fresh. I really love that kind of little bit of a peachy tone on the lips. And overall, I love how all of these products came together to create this look. Now, as far as standout products, like my absolute favorites, things that I feel like really are something special, I would say are definitely the Color Shock shadows, the lip products, in particular, these stylo lipsticks and the glosses. I think the wear time, how comfortable they are, the colors, I just think these are great. The lip liners are also good. I do have other lip liners that I love, but if you're looking for something at a little lower price point, I think these are worth checking out. And then their powder face products and the cream contour, you know, all of these things, I have really enjoyed all of their baked products, all of the contours, the blushes. I even had purchased, this was probably my second purchase from the KIKO brand. And of course, this is no longer available, but these combo of blushes I showed in a Darlings and Duds, and these were impressive. So I really feel like they do a really good job with their face products, their powder products and cream contours and all of that. The items that I'm kind of on the fence about personally are the Universal Finishing Powder. This is good. It's not something I'll probably purchase again. I do feel like it worked well for me yesterday as kind of like a touch-up powder in the middle of the day. I dusted this on, it took away the shine, and I do think it helped my makeup last well through the rest of the day, and it was really hot. The foundation, while my skin feels super lightweight and I did get decent coverage, I do feel like I use more of this product and you get less than my Bare Pro liquid foundation. And I know this is cheaper than this as far as the, you know, per bottle, $24.99, and this I believe is $35, somewhere around there. But I use a lot less of this product and I feel like I get just as good, if not better, coverage, and it still has that lightweight feel. So overall, this is a fine product, but I don't know that I would say you need to run out and get this particular product. But those others that I mentioned, I like the lips, the eyes, these cheek products, I think that is really where KIKO shines. Now, as far as ordering from them, I mentioned earlier that I have another order on its way. So if you're ordering directly from their website, know that these products are coming from Italy. So it's going to take a little extra time. It takes roughly about 2 weeks for it to come to me here in Southern California. Now you will get a shipping notification like the next day. So they ship it out very quickly, which is good. However, when you get that shipping notification, the first time I got it, it came in this email and it's like WIT, W-I-T logistics. And I was like, what is that? And you know, we're all afraid to click on links we don't know where they came from, but that is the shipping company or the way that they ship their products. So don't be afraid of that. But that email does come the next day and then you can keep track of your package. So I've found them to be very reliable. Everything has arrived intact. I've not had anything broken, which is amazing. So I would recommend checking their website for the greatest selection. If you're hesitant to do that, you can go on Ulta's website and see. But overall, I have just really enjoyed this brand. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you're new to the KIKO brand, hopefully I've piqued your interest in possibly some new favorite products to try out. As always, all the products that I talked about will be listed and everything that's available will be linked down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.